They're often pacing. Leaving in the center with speed, Platine Alpha, Jackie of all
At
trades,
first, that's
jumps up
where
on
the complete
accelerator.
fascination was, calling races. There was something about it that was intriguing, and it still is. But at the same time, then you get curious about seeing people train the horses and stuff like that. So you'd venture out to training centers, jog the odd one, talk to people, but you just always got the impression that they thought you're just a guy in a suit who sits up on top of the grandstand and doesn't really grasp the reality of what we do here in the trenches. So I don't know if I took that personal sometimes, or it was just a challenge. It was a warning shot fired. So I always did love the horses. I had some cheap ones and this and that, but it was really when we got into the yearling aspect and bought yearlings. That's when I really started to fall in love with that part of the other side of the industry. Just seeing them progress. I guess it's just like having a child. You see them get older and you appreciate how they can skate or learn to skate. Or it's the same with the horses. So that's kind of the way it worked out. I would say it was when I started getting the bills for other people looking after the horses and stuff. I just realized it wasn't financially feasible to want to do that. So, not to mention I enjoyed it too. I was curious about that aspect of the industry. It's just like anything else. You want new challenges in life to drive you a bit, and I really love the time I get to see them and spend with them and stuff. I can have a coffee in the morning and look out my kitchen window and there's my horses. It's that connection and the appreciation of them, and I wanted to have that on a daily basis. So I used to watch horses as a handicapper, know horses that were locked in from week to week, and I could, if someone asked me for a winner or something like that, or a horse that I'd recommend, I could, in a snap of a finger, give them 10 just off the top of my head. But it's not that way anymore. I tend to focus on race nights, watching horses warm up and how trainers have horses rigged up equipment-wise and different things. I'm just looking at that kind of thing as opposed to watching horses for the sake of wanting to bet on them or recommend a horse to bet on to someone else. I don't know. It's something that intrigues me, and that's what I tend to focus on now. Horses that catch your eye, or how they're gaited, or how they're rigged up and stuff like that. If you're in this industry and you race and raise horses, you'd love to have a horse just in a big race. It'd be awesome to win it, but just being in it it's quite an accomplishment in itself. I haven't reached that point yet, obviously, but I'm striving to. I'm not going to lie, I don't do this just because I like doing it. It's because financially I'd love to have a handsome windfall someday. And you see other people too. There's lots of people that are in the industry at a small level that can have great success. Gord Irwin comes to mind, guy that bred his own, and back-to-back years he had 2 incredible home runs. People would love to have a horse like In Vitro, but then he followed up with big-time balls. So yeah, those kind of things are obviously something that you dream about, and I'd be lying if I said, yeah, I would love someday to be in that position, to be in a race like that. So yeah, ultimately, hopefully we can get there. I think the most rewarding thing so far for me was the filly we raced this year. This past year, she's a Sassy Beach, because it's funny, I've been asked the question a bunch of times, is it hard to call that race when your horse is in it? Yes, it is hard, because you want to be professional and try not to have that influence you in any way, but deep inside, it's killing me. It's because she was in the 2-hole turning home in the final that night, and I thought going into the race she was in the best shape we could have her in, and I thought I had a realistic chance to win it. But at the top of the stretch, when she came out of the 2-hole, I was almost certain she was going to win, but all the memories just came flashing back and rushing back. The day she was born, I can remember up the road at Bill Crow's farm holding her in my hands and just watching her grow up when I'd go to the farm and see her grow. And it's just funny, you think back to all those flashbacks of things along the way, and then breaking her and getting her in a harness for the first time, and just all those steps. It's a lot of work and a lot of dedication, but there's not a feeling like it in the world when they get to the winner's circle, I'll tell you. My first experience at the Jockey Club, or WEG. It's changed a few times now. I filled in. They needed a trackside interviewer for their North America Cup elimination night. Karen Houdon was doing the broadcasting on TV at the time. She was racing a trotting filly named Remarkable Image, and she had to go to Barrie to race in a gold elimination. So Ken Middleton got the tap on the shoulder, and I was the guy. And I was starstruck because I got to interview guys like John Campbell and David Miller and Ron Pierce, and it was just an awesome experience. And it just so happened that Karen's filly advanced to the final, so she was gone for the next week too, and I got to go back for a second week and be the trackside reporter for the North America Cup. And that's when it started. And then shortly thereafter, I was offered a full-time position, and I jumped at the opportunity. I wanted to be there. The world's best horsemen were there. It was just a great team of people working in the department, and it's ultimately what I wanted to do. It was a dream come true, really. Yeah, I did the broadcasting for 8 years. It was 2006. Frank Salive had turned in his resignation. I ultimately always dreamt of doing that job. I love doing TV. I love broadcasting and interacting with the people, but announcing the races was, it was a different love. I did love the opportunity to do that, and I still do. Do I miss the interaction with people at ground level, interviewing and stuff every single time? But I make sure I go out and touch base with a lot of those people. I've remained friends with them and stuff. But yeah, announcing's different. You're in a booth by yourself, and you just have a different role, that's all. But it's fantastic. Two highlights. The Sun Beach Somewhere Pepsi North America Cup was surreal, not just because of his star power, but because of the gathering of people that were not only at the track, but when you think about it, people from all over the world had to be tuning in, because he was a once in a he was the generational horse for us. Just the way Niatros was in his day, he was a special horse. So that was a very unique experience and a surreal experience, just because of the deafening crowd that was there, and it was massive, like unlike any other that I've experienced. And the Sandpail Breeders' Crown Race, because there was a lot of build up to that race. It wasn't just about one horse. There was the international flavor that was added to the race that year, and it lived up to the hype. It was a great race. The horses that were supposed to be there at the finish were there, and Sandpail, he's another horse who had an incredible gathering, so for him to be at the top of his game that night, it was another awesome experience I'll never forget. Oh, without a doubt. I'd love to have a horse in the North America Cup. But somebody asked me the question, if you did have a horse in the North America Cup, would you be in the paddock or would you be calling the race? That made me think. That's not an answer that comes along quite as easy. I would probably still love to call the race, but I just can't imagine stepping on the pedal as they went in behind the gate. I really can't. I don't know. That'd be a totally different situation. I would like to think I could keep it together. I have in the past. It was funny. The mother of that foal over there, Little Miss Sporty, she was in an OSS Gold going for $105,000 in her second career start. She swept from 8th to finish second. She was like 60-1. And I've gone back and listened to the race call, and I've had people say to me, "You never gave your filly a call, like you didn't get excited." And well, that's good. Then I'm doing my job. It's because you can't identify that I've got a vested interest in a horse there. This year was different though with She's a Sassy Beach. I did get a little teared up and stuff like that. I'd lost my partner and a longtime friend, and I was thinking of him at the time, and how much I wished he could have been there. So that was a different experience. It was noticeable that I was getting choked up and emotional about it, but it's just my human instincts kicked in, and I was feeling emotional about that. So I wish Bill could have been there. He wasn't, and that was a totally different race though, yeah. Bill Galvin and my father were very close friends. It goes back to the days of the ice racing in the Rideau Canal. They worked hand in hand at putting that together. They were both very proud of the fact that they worked together and put together that, because it was quite a national treasure for many, many years. Dignitaries, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, I believe, was there one year and stuff like that. So it was something they were very proud of, that they were part of. So my dad and Bill remained friends. When my dad passed away, Bill reached out to me See, my father started getting involved in purchasing some small pieces of yearlings, and Bill approached me and said, I'd like to keep that going. He said, would you mind if I became a partner? And I said, that's great, that's awesome. And Bill was, if you never met Bill, he honestly was truly one of the nicest gentlemen you're ever going to meet. You'd never forget that you talked to him, because every time he spoke with you, there was sincerity, you just knew he was paying attention to what you were saying. You listened to what he had to say, and he definitely listened to what you had to say. When he phoned you on the phone, it was just that genuine sincerity. He was a guy who would do anything for you, and then vice versa. You would do anything for him, and that's just the kind of guy he was. And yeah, I dearly miss him. It's such a shame, because he was so great for racing, but he was just a salt of the earth gentleman, just an absolute gentleman. I would say 10 years from now, I don't have visions of grandeur. This is a lifetime investment. It's something that I not at all points in my life dreamed of, but later in life, it's what I dreamt of. The serenity, like I say, just the opportunity to look out my window and see my horses there and interact with them on a daily basis. I don't see it getting any bigger, because I'm limited to what I can do here with the size of the land that I have to work with, but it's enough for me. It's the fruits of my labor. I've worked hard. It's in our DNA. My mom's a hard worker. My dad was a hard worker, and it's just in that Middleton DNA. We love to work hard, and I love every opportunity to come out in the backyard and work on a project or work with the horses. It's something I never get out of bed, put it this way, and say, oh crap, I got to go to the barn. I love getting up, especially training days. I can't get out of bed fast enough. Like, it's just, I love it. It's what I signed up for, and I'm all in.